Hey y'all, my name is Jason Dames, and I'm gonna give you a good old Peter McKinnon. What's up? Hey, the reason why I'm so excited about this conversation is I got to interview a good friend of mine, Nancy Baker, and we've been working with her in their fitness and nutrition for the past 6 months. And the reason why this video is just so important is that Nancy was diagnosed with cancer, stage 4, and given 3 months to live. Can you imagine what that might have felt like at that moment? That was 2 years ago when she got the diagnosis, and she's been cancer-free for a year. It's so exciting. I know, right? So anyways, we're gonna talk with her about the mindsets and the things that she did to help get her on the other side and have a victory over cancer. And there was so much that we missed of her overall story. I think we'd like to do a video again. So if you wanna put some comments in the comment section below, maybe some questions that you might have for another video, feel free to do so. But guys, I hope you enjoy this video. God bless you. Hey, what's going on, guys? My name is Jason Dames. I'm with Final Start Fitness, and today we've got my special guest, Nancy Baker. I've had the privilege of working with her. We've been doing some training, working with some nutrition. Nancy has battled cancer, and she's got a tremendous story. And so I figured this would really help a lot of people out. So we wanted to maybe sit down, have a conversation. I went to Nancy and I was like, hey, Nancy, what do you think about sitting down, like telling your story a little bit? She's been through some battles here and she's come out on the other side, and it's just tremendous. I mean, she was at stage 4 cancer diagnosis and went through chemotherapy, and it's just an amazing story. And I was like, Nancy, you got to tell this. So I'm really excited about this conversation and where it might go and how it might help so many different people. So what I thought we would do, Nancy, is maybe just kind of start out telling a little bit of the backstory of maybe before you were diagnosed, during the diagnosis, and maybe a little bit after the diagnosis.
Sure.
Kind of where you were at, just even like your thought processes and stuff like that. Could you give us a little bit of backdrop for that?
Sure. I've always been fit. I am 73. I've always been fit. I would do 50 minutes on the treadmill every day. And then I would do 2 water aerobics classes at the Y in O'Fallon every day. And I did that for probably a year or so. And then I was diagnosed with cancer, and kind of everything stopped because I couldn't. When I got the diagnosis, it was in my appendix, and my appendix burst. So that meant I had cancer cells all in my abdominal cavity. And so they did surgery that same day, evening. And when I healed from my surgery, partially healed, I saw a photo the other day that reminded me that 16 days after my diagnosis, I had an opportunity to drive a lap on the Indianapolis 500 Speedway, and I thought, I have to do it. When I got my diagnosis was stage 4. They said I had 3 to 4 months to live.
Oh my gosh.
And I wasn't in denial, Jason, but it wasn't acceptable. I just thought, no, I won't. I'll do everything I can to get well.
That's what I love about Nancy, man. She is a fighter, and that's one of the reasons why we're actually training together too, just for overall health. And we'll talk about that more in a minute. But you're such a fighter. It's so cool to see, and that's why I think. So this was approximately about 2 years ago, and I think she told me that all the nurses in there called her like the miracle girl, right?
Yeah, I was a miracle girl. I had the first surgery, and then I did chemo, and then I had to do another massive surgery called HIPEC surgery, and that was the end of November that year. And that was 5 months later. And I went in the day after Thanksgiving. They said their goal was to get me home by Christmas. The surgery is 14 hours. Oh my gosh. And they thought I'd be in intensive care for a week to 10 days. I was there 3 days. And instead of coming home at Christmas like they thought, I was home on December 6th.
Oh, wow.
So I was only in there for a few days, really,
gosh.
from right after Thanksgiving to then. So, but then I couldn't do anything. I sat. I really could not
Yeah.
physically do anything. The second surgery was major surgery. They just took, well, it was just massive. And I physically couldn't do anything. And so I sat, just glad to be alive, really.
Yeah.
Just knowing that I had made huge strides in getting well. But I sat. And I sat for months when I couldn't do anything. And then I sat for months just because I kind of got used to sitting.
Yeah.
I kind of got out of my habit of taking care of myself. I was just
You went from being really active all the time to just,
sedentary.
yeah, sedentary.
Totally sedentary for months because I couldn't, and then I just didn't.
Yeah.
I just didn't.
Yeah.
But then I got the idea that this is just ridiculous. I have to get back on track. The one thing I don't want to do is not be able to take care of myself, not be able to do what I want to do. I don't want to climb Mount Everest. I just want to live my life and go about and do things I want to do.
I know we were talking
Things
about that
that
the
I
other day,
enjoy.
though. Just, like as you age, one of the things Nancy said is just, man, in the next 10 years, I just want to be able to do the things that I want to do without hindrances or depending on people. And that's so much of my motivation too, as well. So we kind of are very much alike. And so I would love to, one of the things that we always talk about at Final Start Fitness is, attitudes and mindsets, and how much your mindsets really dictate your overall results and everything. And now with this whole prognosis into cancer, I know not everybody ends up in the same way, coming out ahead like you did and overcoming this, but I would like to talk about, I think that how your attitude and your approach through the whole thing was probably it probably made a dramatic impact in her actually outcome of what happened and her be able to come back on the other side. What would you say, in terms of how you took, how you viewed and how your attitude was going through this process that you think maybe made a difference?
It absolutely made a difference. I know I had a good medical team, and I know I had a good support system that would have been there regardless of my attitude, but I just wanted to be better. And I knew that it's really a mindset, it's really an emotional thing, and you just know that you can do it.
Yeah.
You just know that. And I was an inspiration to other people too.
Yeah.
So that inspired me.
Yeah.
But I knew that my attitude, it was always upbeat, in spite of things, always upbeat attitude, because I knew that I just knew in my mind that I was gonna do well.
Yeah. Now you I think have went and helped and mentored other people that are going through cancer diagnosis and stuff even now. What would you say, like, you probably see people that maybe give up a little bit and they get a prognosis like that and they give up and they're just, how do you think that impacts that person overall? Have you seen differences in some of the people that have a better attitude versus people that don't?
In my own family, at the same time I was diagnosed, I had someone in my family who was diagnosed at the same time, and she did not have a good outcome. But she also, I think her attitude was different. I don't think that she really believed and felt, and she wanted to be well, but I just don't think she had that.
Yeah.
And I think it did make a big difference, not just in the outcome, but as she went through every day struggling. And when you have a better attitude, you can face things better.
Yeah.
You struggle. The struggles are there. They're not gone.
Yeah.
But you just have to think about them as just part of the process. It's just a step.
Yeah.
That's a step. That's a step. But if you keep your mind, I don't know, in a joyful place, knowing that I can help this myself by being positive, by staying positive.
That's so true. And that's what I love about Nancy too. She's such a fighter. I just remember when we first met, she was like, Jason, I just want to get back on track, and I want to live out the rest of my days. And man, I think so many people just give up, and even if without some sort of diagnosis like that, we just kind of live life, and we just kind of accept whatever comes to us. And I think having that fight mentality, and I think coming from you going through a struggle, you know, a lot of you out there might be going through a similar, like, just rock your world struggle. And man, we just want to say we empathize with you. I know Nancy has such great empathy towards people. But the message I think that we want to convey is that having a great attitude can make a dramatic difference. No, is it going to make everybody that, you know, has some sort of diagnosis or something bad happen in their life, that their attitude is just going to change everything and it's going to come out hunky-dory? That's not what we're saying at all. But I do think it's something special that I think it's very huge on why Nancy was able to come out on the other side when a lot of others don't. There's so much going on mentally, like physiologically, just in our brain when we start to think positively, and I know for myself and Nancy, you know, we're both believers in Christ, and our faith sustains us a lot of times. And a lot of times if you don't have faith, maybe start thinking about that. Look in and, you know, find out what you believe and why you believe it, because, you know, we believe that true hope comes from, you know, God and our salvation and so forth. And I'm not trying to preach to anybody, but, you know, having an attitude of gratitude and having hope for the future and knowing that you are built for a purpose and having reasons why to live can be so important. Do you have anything to add to that?
Every day, I don't care where you are in life or what your difficulties are, every single day has something great about it.
Yeah.
Sometimes you have to be open-minded, and you have to look for those good things. Focus on all those good things. Focus on the sun shining. Focus on the nice shower we had. Focus on those things. Try to forget your problems. Worrying about your problems doesn't solve your problems.
No, it doesn't.
Focus on the good things in your life.
How would you say in terms of, you know, if you could go back, applying what you just said in those moments where, like you said, you don't have any energy, you can't even get up out of the couch, you know, and it's probably very easy to succumb to looking at all the negative. Like, what would you say to that person that is struggling there at that moment where, man, I just don't even feel like moving on anymore? Like, do you have any words for them?
Well, and I did go through that for a short period of time because I was in pain. I was scared. Fear is a terrible thing. I was in pain. I was afraid. And I did sink. And I stayed that way for a week. And I thought, wait a minute, why am I doing this? Look at what I do have. Look at the people in my life. Look at everything around me.
Yeah.
I just lifted myself out of that. You have to lift yourself out of that. No one else can do it for you.
Yep.
It's like no one else can make you happy.
Yeah.
No one else can lift you out of that. You have to do it yourself.
Were there some things that you read or reflected on a daily basis, things that like really helped encourage you through that process that helped you along, or any other kind of like?
I think the thing of it that I concentrated on was all the good times in my life, and then I had more. I had more to look forward to. All of the good things from when I was a child, when I was a young woman, when I was, you know, all of the good things in life.
Yeah.
And of course, I am a Christian, and that helped. And I was on the prayer list for churches from, let's see, Michigan, North Carolina, Texas,
Oh, wow.
Missouri, a lot of them here in Missouri. It was just
That's
just
amazing.
amazing, and that sustained me too because I knew that with God's help I could get through anything.
Amen.
I could I could face the battle, but still you have to lift with His help. You have to lift yourself up. It depends on us.
Yes,
It depends on us. No one else.
definitely. And so you're like 75, right?
73.
73. Okay.
Hey, don't make me older than I
I'm
am.
sorry.
Goodness.
She's 73. So she's got. The reason why I brought that up, she's got grandkids, lots of stuff to
A
live
great
for.
grandchild.
Lots of stuff to live for, and a lot of times people, I've seen people at age 30 and 40, where they give up, and maybe they don't have a prognosis or some sort of diagnosis that is life threatening, but they just give up on life. Period. Maybe they're going through other hard times, and so, man, Nancy's such a great example of there's so much more to live for. Don't give up. I mean, and a lot of people could use their age as a reason why not to, but man, when you're in that pit, I just want to encourage you, like Nancy's encouraging you. You don't have to accept that. Like you might go through some really, really bad times, and you might go through some crappy moments, but there is stuff to live for on the other side. And having hope and having an attitude of gratitude and doing some of these small things, I'm sure made such a big impact for you.
It did. You're in charge of your own life. Live it.
Yeah.
Just live it. But live it the way you enjoy it and what you want to do. And you can do it.
Yeah.
You really can
I
do
love
it.
that. Man. So yes, I mean, we just wanted to give you a little bit of encouragement here. Don't want to keep it too long. I've had the privilege of working with Nancy for a few months, and man, she's just doing so well. She's been consistent. We've been, tweaking some things nutritionally, and she's been coming and training. I've seen her strength just improve dramatically. What are some things that you've noticed over the past few months of working together just improvements that you're really excited about?
Well, it's a very simple thing, but just walking. It's just so good to be able to walk without a brisk walk. And if you haven't been able to do that, remember what it was like when you could and do it again. You can do it again. You have to build it up. But I love to work outside.
Yeah.
And I have noticed that I just have such strength now compared to what I did when I'm working if I'm working my flower beds, or if I'm carrying a bag of topsoil, or if I'm, whatever I'm doing, I can
She was
feel
telling
the
me the other day
strength.
ago, she had an axe and she was chopping down this piece of wood or whatever, and she said, man, I actually felt like I had strength to do that. That was awesome.
Yes, I was trying to get rid of a rose that had was not doing well, and I knew it wasn't going to come back. So I was trying to get it down, and those things have huge roots.
Yeah.
So I had to get the axe to get rid of that thing. But I did.
Yeah, that's great. Well, I'm so excited. That's another good tip that you could probably take along, is that Nancy just gets outside in the garden too, gets around nature with good microbes and stuff to help. It's probably been dramatically huge in help rebuilding her microbiome and helping her overall health. That's a great way to kind of like restore your health. Get outside, get some vitamin D, move around a little bit. And obviously those are some simple things. It's not just as simple as saying do that and everything's going to be okay.
But don't sit.
Yeah.
The one thing that I would say is do not sit. Do not turn on the TV, and do not sit.
Man, that's so great. Just getting out and moving. Like that's one of the things when when she first came to me, she's like, I'm tired of sitting and I just want to get healthy again. And so we talked about some of her whys, and she's got a lot of grandkids and things like that to live for. And I believe over the next 10, 20, however many more years there are for Nancy, she's going to live them out thriving. And that's what you guys got to get in mind, is have your reason why. Get your reason why big enough. Think about like why you want to get back to health, or if you're not going through a struggle, think about in the future of like preventing that from happening. Say, don't wait till something bad happens till you get there. Start taking care of yourself now. That's one of my messages. It's just some of these ways in which we think. And so it's a lot of times more about attitude and how we think than it is just what we do. So get that big reason why. For me, man, I just tell people, maybe borrow some of my belief in you. Like, that's one of the things my sister Trisha said. She said, Jason, I really just don't believe I can get there. She said, I'm borrowing your belief. And it may be you have to borrow somebody's belief, or you just have something bigger. Like, you don't want to wait till something bad happens, and you want to be around for your family. You don't want to be medicated. You don't want to be like at 60 years old where all of your joints and so forth ache and you can't have a good quality of life. There's a difference between quality of life, and there's health span and lifespan. So we want to have a good health span, not just a good lifespan. I watched my grandma the last 10, 15, 20 years of her life. She was so medicated that she couldn't even enjoy her life, So that's what gets me motivated, but everybody's different. Find out what motivates you to keep moving. Like Nancy said, think of those positive things and not focus on all the negative things that are keeping you from doing what you want to do. There's this book that I read. It says, if you think you can, you can. If you think you can't, you can't. Both ways, you're right. And so that's kind of our message for you, is to believe that you can and then move forward in those directions.
That's right. And what I'm looking for and why I'm trying to get fit is really that quality of life that you just mentioned. I want to be able to do, I don't care to live 100. That's not my goal. My goal is to be active enough that I can do and enjoy the things that I love to do.
Yeah. She's part of the Corvette Club, man. She pulled up in her yellow Corvette, loving just roaming around in her little yellow Corvette, just looking so fancy. My daughter calls her Miss Fancy instead of Miss Nancy. I love it. So I thought that was great.
Oh, she's a sweetheart.
But we'll kind of end it on that note, guys. Hey, we want to put out lots of great information. We're going to interview different people like Nancy. Our goal and our objective is to help give you the right information, the right accountability and motivation that'll help you create habits in your life that translates into long-lasting results in your health and fitness. And so we have a YouTube channel. If you haven't subscribed, please do so. If not, don't feel like you have to. So we just want you to be able to have good information that you can take to apply in your life that's going to change your life. We also have Facebook Lives on Thursday nights at 8 o'clock. We're going to start doing again. So make sure you tune into those, subscribe, like our channel. And with that, we're going to peace out. You want to give like a little peace sign, like boom.
Boom.
All right, guys, we'll see you later.